Hey, what's up, everyone? Dan Casey here. Help Today We Learn stay free to download by completing this short, anonymous survey. It'll only take you about 5 minutes, and your answers will help match our show with advertisers that best fit the sensibilities of our podcast and its listeners, namely yourself. You don't want us to advertise weird stuff to you, or maybe you do. Let us know in the survey. And guys, everyone who completes the survey will be entered into an ongoing monthly raffle to win a $100 Amazon gift card. Think of all the cool stuff you could buy with that money. You could even buy Amazon Prime to make sure you get your other cool stuff faster. And guys, we promise not to share or sell your email address, and we will not send you an email unless you win. So, really, it's pretty painless. And if you want to help, please go to podsurvey.com/today. That's podsurvey.com/today to take our survey and get a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card. Thanks a lot, guys, and here is the show.
Now entering Nerdist.com.
Hello and welcome to Today We Learned, 2015 edition.
2015.
The future is now.
The future is now.
The year 2015.
Previously on Today We Learned.
Previously. It's 2014. Now on Today We Learned. It's 2015.
Hey, guys.
What's up?
What's up?
It's your old pals, Dan.
And Razzle.
That's us.
That's us.
We made it. We did it.
We succeeded in living another year.
Yeah, well, it would be pretty messed up if we died the day this podcast
here's the deal.
came out the day before.
We're kind of ahead of ourselves because we're recording this before 2015, so we might die. The world might end.
Yeah,
we might have nobody might be hearing you. Nobody might hear this,
guys. If you are one of the few survivors in a post-apocalyptic hellscape that occurred on the evening of January 1st, transitioning from the 31st of December. Oh, super sorry you got to deal with that. Try to make like Will Smith and I Am Legend, maybe. Remember your stuff from Fallout. Don't drink toilet water. It's probably irradiated.
And if you need something to do, track down the Mad Max movie because it's somewhere.
Yeah. Track down Mad Max Fury Road.
It looked awesome, and I'm jealous I won't get to see it because the world ended.
So good. Oh, man. Good. That's probably my biggest regret over us dying in the apocalypse that took place on New Year's Eve is that we don't get to see Mad Max.
Oh, man, that movie looks
Babe 3.
Or Babe 3.
Son of Babe.
Yeah.
Because, George Miller, he produced Babe.
Yeah, it's actually, believe it or not, the title is just Babe, but the E is
it's a 3? That's so good.
Yeah, I feel like I'm really upset.
That's why he's a mastermind.
I'm so pissed Taken didn't do that.
Taken, did they not?
No, it's called Taken 3.
Come on.
It's not called Taken Again. It's called Taken. It's not called Taken Framed. It's not called Taken. We stole this plot from The Fugitive. It's not called Taken. The E is a 3. It's just called Taken 3.
And I have been getting the dumbest PR blasts about Taken 3,
really?
Saying that Brian Mills has joined LinkedIn and he will endorse you for a particular set of skills. Like, who's using this professional job hunting website being like, yeah, I want to have me endorsed for murder by a fictional character.
Yeah.
Will that get me hired at Google?
These PR blasts you're getting, are they any way connected to us trying to get Liam Neeson on the show? Because he would not come on the show.
Here's the thing.
He would be awesome.
I know that Liam is a diehard TWL head. He's told me as much through a series of cryptic messages. But he's shy. For all the work he does in front of the camera, he's a shy guy.
He's a shy guy.
So, guys, he really wants you to sort of help show that you'd be into the idea.
Yeah.
So use hashtag Taken We Learned or hashtag Neeson TWL. If we get enough support behind it, Liam has assured me personally, he has told me in not so many words that he would do the shit out of this podcast.
Here's what's going to happen. After we get when this is done, I'm going to research and find out who Liam Neeson's publicity team is, and I will find out, and I will, on the next episode, we will unveil their Twitter account.
We will dox them. We will give you their fears, their measurements.
And the listeners can blow up their
Twitter
inboxes.
Account, their inboxes.
With how much you want Liam Neeson.
With some seriously explosive messages.
With how much you want Liam Neeson on Today We Learn. But you know what else? We have a great guest today.
My
God. We do have a great guest today.
We have a great guest. We have some great facts. We have some great jokes. We have some great times, some good times and great oldies. We have
GTs and GOs.
GTs and GTOs. GTO.
We recorded this in a GTO, cruising along the 405 at 2 miles an hour.
Yeah, well, everybody was out of town for the holidays.
Yeah.
The road's empty. This guest, this actress, as you know, you clicked on this. She's very talented. You've seen her on the CW's The 100. You've seen her on True Blood. You've seen her most recently in Newsroom.
The Newsroom.
You've seen her all over. She's a very talented actress. This is a great episode. We got some fun facts about everything, a little bit about this, a little bit about that.
I love that.
This was pretty good, too, though.
I could take it or leave it. Not to spoil anything. I'm more of that guy.
Oh, fair enough.
That guy.
Hey, this and that, whatever.
You can get with this. You can get with that. That's what those hamsters from Kia told me.
You can go with that. Whatever floats your boat. If it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, my boat floats on this.
Delightful.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a great episode, and I'm glad we get to start off I'm glad we get to start off 2015
on a high note.
On a high note.
Yeah.
Yeah. The day today is January. It
should be the 5th, right? January 5th?
January 5th.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5th?
Yeah, it is January 5th. That's a great day, great start to 2015, a year of fun guests and fun facts. So why don't we light this candle?
Without further ado, Today We Learned with Adina Porter.
Today we learned. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Today We Learned. As usual, my name is Razzle.
And I'm Dan.
Awesome. And with us, we have a wonderful show planned for you guys.
Yeah, we're very excited.
Very excited. This is a great start to 2015. This is a great guest for a great year of
starting things off with a bang.
With a bang. I'm trying to, while I repeat what Dan just said, I'm trying to think of a fun pun that has to do with 2015, but I can't. I'm not. We're starting this off with a bang.
With a very gradual bang.
with a very slow build up.
But no.
I'm doing a horrible job at starting off the year.
Here, let me take over
Dan,
for a second.
take this over.
This fall is far away because it's the winter. It's 2015, and we have a fantastic guest today. You've seen her on the 100. Is the 100 the 100? You've seen her on either way. No matter how you pronounce it, you've seen her on this show.
It's just there's not like multiple 100.
No, it's a singular 100.
Singular 100.
That would be antithetical to the core messaging of the show. There's only 100 people that come back to Earth.
Could you say? So 200s.
That would be two episodes of the series.
That would still be like the hundreds, like it's plural 100. Or
yeah,
is it just,
I think it's kind of
math.
You
words.
could do that. I think it's kind of like
Semantics.
how they want you to be like fish, like two fish. Yeah, like 200. Anyway, so you've seen her on the 100. You've seen her on the Newsroom, True Blood, Vampire Diaries, Glee. Point is, she's great. We're happy to have her here.
Very talented.
Put your hands together at home for Adina Porter.
Adina Porter.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you for being here today.
Thanks very much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. Adina, as our listeners know, and as you know, because I just told you, I just informed you 2 minutes ago, so you had plenty of time to prepare it.
Yeah.
We like to start the show off with the guest providing either a fun fact about themselves or something you learned recently, be it something from a Snapple cap or a new way of tying your shoe or anything. There's no rules, no pressure, no anything. So if you have anything you'd like, sure, we could even get back to it. You learn you don't want to do podcasts anymore.
No. Keeping it PG.
Yes.
But I think...
there's no ratings, but we can keep it PG if you'd like.
What I have learned recently, I guess the first thing that kind of comes to my head, just throwing it out there, is that... I don't know, maybe just children just know how to work computers like they're born with the knowledge. My 4-year-old now knows how to search YouTube.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's something I've been particularly fascinated by because my parents were early adopters of technology. So
Same here.
From a very early age, we had all sorts of computers, early access to the internet in my house.
Same here.
And it's funny how it just quickly becomes second nature. And especially nowadays, I do a lot of traveling for work, so I always see a lot of parents with their children. The kids have iPads, they have cell phones. And they're so adept with them in a way that their parents, who are not, this is not foreign to them. Yeah. It's like this is their generation, something they've grown up with. They have a level of adroitness that we don't.
It's such a you hand a 4-year-old, as I mentioned, I have a 5-year-old nephew and a 7-year-old nephew. You hand them like an iPad or a phone with a photo, and they immediately know how to zoom in and look at it or scroll. It's so they're so intelligent, and even like you said, they inherently they just know. I feel like there has to be I feel like once something is in the ether, I feel like children know it, or are they're even they're born already knowing something that's already. Do you know what I mean? I feel like because when we were born, we didn't know anything about we didn't have the internet or anything like that. But now children are born into this tech savvy world. Inherently, I feel like even just watching, they learn things. They could even not use it, but they already understand the concept and the functionality.
Or it might just be that as a parent, I have the opportunity to pay a little bit more attention.
Yeah.
My parents worked so damn hard all the time that they were always running around, and it was like, don't touch anything because if it breaks, we can't afford to pick it up again.
Yeah.
But because I have a little bit more luxury, a little bit more time, I can watch what they're doing, and I don't think they're afraid of me, so they can kind of mention it. Yep.
Yeah.
And I just have to make sure that they're not watching anything inappropriate, because I just have to take off the headphones and go over, what are you watching? But today she was learning how to make a Elsa dress for her Barbie doll on YouTube.
That's amazing.
And that's another thing I love about when I was a kid, I was all about building and trying to make things and create things, using my imagination and all that. And now your daughter can go on YouTube and learn how to make or sew a dress for her toys.
But my 7-year-old decided that he wanted to grab his broken tablet, 2 books,
sure,
and a box full of Legos to take with him to Grandma's house. And I thought, that's good.
That's good.
I'm very glad.
Legos.
Diversifying.
And build with Legos.
And that's something that just fills me with joy as well, that Legos are still very much a hugely popular toy for both adults and children because it just engages so many different centers of the brain.
Yeah.
And there's so much you can do with them. It bummed me out when I had to give away my Legos, but I gave them to my younger cousin, and just seeing the sheer joy on his face when he opened this giant tub, it's amazing.
Yeah. It's so interesting. There's it's almost, to me, you almost wonder if it's something primal or whatever, or just instinctive, how regardless of tablets, of computers, tablets, or any technology we have, your daughter still, in the end, she wants a dress for her doll. She wants a doll, and your son's he wants to play with blocks.
Yeah.
There's something about building and just using your imagination, even though you have the world at your fingertips, the children have, the world is on these tablets, and they could learn anything they want and watch anything. They could watch the latest, whatever their favorite cartoon is, and in the end, they want to play with blocks, and they want to play with dolls.
Yes.
And that's amazing to me.
Yeah, but I do agree with you. It is important to keep an eye on what they're doing on there, because I know definitely I got to my fair share of internet exploration back in the day. Probably saw stuff that I probably shouldn't have seen sooner than I should have seen it. And it's harder than ever because there's so much content out there, and it's so hard to keep tabs on things.
And then you got to explain stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm just trying to watch out on that. And,
Yeah.
But my son accidentally downloaded a whole bunch of stuff on his tablet, and it stopped working because it was full of a lot of porn. But it was but it was, he didn't care about the porn. He was like, why is my Minecraft not working? It's just like, get the breasts out the way.
I want blocks.
Exactly, which is great.
I want virtual blocks.
I'm trying to create a world here.
So I didn't know how to get rid of the porn, so I just erased everything.
Yeah.
And then just had to buy Minecraft again and that kind of stuff. So yeah.
That's so funny. That's another, like, it's, again, Minecraft. I was just reading and I'll have the trades pull up in my Feedly and my Google Reader, and as of late, for some reason, Variety will start posting, like, when people buy houses, rich people buy houses, or people put them up, and they just posted the dude who
Marcus
sold,
Pearson,
the dude who owned
Notch, the creator of Minecraft,
bought a $70 million house. Which
in
is
Beverly
just,
Hills, the most expensive home in Beverly Hills.
I can't comprehend, but he made his money off of people building with blocks in a computer world.
And Microsoft recently purchased his Minecraft IP outright for $2.5 billion.
Wow.
And he's been a very, he's one of those guys where I don't fault him for what he did. He's always been very forthcoming and transparent with the community.
Yeah.
This house is ridiculous, though. It has a candy room, just a room full of you walked in Dylan's Candy Bar. It's like that, just rows of every jelly bean conceivable. It has 2 toilets, each one costing $5,600.
What do the toilets do?
Just toilet stuff.
They feed you jelly beans.
Exactly. It's all linked to the candy room.
I'll tell you what, though. I don't know. I mean, those expensive toilets or magic toilets, robot toilets, as my friends and I call them. We were visiting my buddy Joel in New York. He was filming a thing, and he was living in this. He was renting, for a while at this place, and it had one of these robot bidet toilets. Now, I'm a simpleton. I come from a small town in Michigan. I live out in LA and all that. So, I mean, I've seen things, but this was still new to me. I've never witnessed a bidet or done with these robot things. And it was the most, I miss that toilet. I would, if I got wealthy enough to where I could spend money on things, I would probably buy one of those magic toilets first, because it was like a robot. It was in different settings of bidets and waters, and it was heated seats.
They have
and
a lot
it
of
opened
those
up on its own. And I'm just it's not new technology. It's fairly old, but it's still just so cool.
It even gets older technology. Remember that movie, The Last Emperor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in the morning, he takes a poop, and then there's a whole bunch of advisors who look at it to see what's going on in his body.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are toilets that go, hey,
you need more fiber.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need more water.
Yeah.
You're, hey, it's, you can tell a lot by your poop.
Yeah.
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 And there's they're going back to the fanciness. They have them all over Japan. They have ones where it will play music while you're flushing so as not to embarrass you. So people are oh, he's just in the bathroom listening to a song.
Wow.
And there are also these new vending machines that can read your body composition and will give you the snack you need, not the snack you want.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you might press Snickers, but they might check it out and go, no, Adina, you know what? You really should have the rice cakes.
Yeah.
Nice try. I'm not myself when I eat rice cakes. I need Snickers.
And that's why I will never go to one of those vending machines, because I love a good Snickers bar.
Yeah, but I guess if I could have someone else help me with, patrolling my body to make sure I'm doing everything right. It might not be about weight. It might be about, you're going to crash, Adina, in 20 minutes with it. Or, you probably are lactose intolerant, or don't have the peanut, or
eat more pizza.
Yeah. It is a vegetable, according to who you ask.
The Senate.
Going back to your point about The Last Emperor, it's something interesting has happened in the last couple years. It's definitely coming to the forefront this year. Fecal transplants. And it sounds weird. It sounds like someone's making a weird internet joke, but they're not. It's something where people have been able to. There's a lot of some people have a disorder where they're not producing the right bacteria, and they get sick, and it can result in fatal diarrhea because they suffer from something called C. diff colitis, which affects some 30 to 50,000 people each year. And I think in 2012, 347,000 people in the U.S. were diagnosed with the infection, 14,000 of whom died as a result. And their bodies just don't produce the right bacteria. and the way that they can fix this problem is take a healthy poop and have that transplanted into their body, because then the body adapts, takes that bacteria, and starts producing it. So, science.
It's 2015.
Exactly, 2015. Science is doing some crazy
poop
things.
is important.
It is. It is.
I love poop.
Hey.
I don't care.
Exactly.
You know, when my kids have a good poop, that means I'm feeding them the right thing.
Absolutely.
You know, when I have a good poop, I feel good. Poop is important.
Exactly.
I tell you what,
everybody does it. That's what the book says.
That book, everybody poops, and it's true. And it's very people. You know, as funny as it is. As funny as it is, like I'm laughing because we're adults just saying the word poop. It's a funny word. The poop is it's just a funny word to say. Like whoever invented poop, I'm going to shake your hand because the word poop is a very funny word. It's just it's got plosives on both ends. much like when you take a good one.
Yes. When I grew up, my mom is a nurse.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't let us say poop. We had to say BM.
Oh, interesting.
Wow,
Yeah.
really
You had
scientific.
to use the lingo.
A good BM.
BM.
I just
That's
got to
no
take
fun.
a good BM.
Yeah. And I tried. I don't like piss.
Yeah.
My children say urine.
You're in.
Except for Mo Williams made a really great book called 123P.
Okay.
And because I love Mo Williams, I let my son get away with that one. But and urine doesn't, 1, 2, 3, urine doesn't work
Yeah,
the
it
same.
doesn't.
No, but I tried to go with BM, but my little girl likes to say poop. And she's going on her own now. Mm-hmm. She's staying dry most of the night. So you got to go with
Whatever's
you got to
working.
learn to adapt.
Exactly.
See, I'm writing a book titled "I'm in Urine."
Available 2016.
Available. I'm kickstarting the funding
Yeah.
right now for the art.
But
the
it's
artist.
a pretty cool thing, you know. I mean, I don't know whoever created us. We know not to eat it
Yes.
because of the smell.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just there's so many things we have to decide about. I'm glad there are a couple of things that are just clear
Yeah. Yeah.
or not clear. Because if your urine is too clear, is that good or bad?
I think it's good.
If it's too
It's
yellow,
clear. If it's too yellow,
you're
not-
dehydrated.
You're dehydrated.
Right,
If you have enough waters, it should be clear. It should be going through and coming out.
Yeah, I mean there is such a
like
thing as
water.
overhydration, but
Yeah.
that is on the rarer side.
And
of
in the end,
spectrum.
it's it's always there's so many people who are like, oh, I'm not. They don't like discussing poop or bowel BMs or anything like that. But in the end, it's like everybody does it.
Yep.
You could think you're you could think you're the highest of royalty. Like people like the other day, LeBron James did a photo op with the queen or the prince or whatever that Kate girl is from across the pond.
Yeah.
And
Pregnant again.
there was. Yeah, she's pregnant again, and everyone's like, "Oh, he touched her shoulder or whatever." That's against royal protocol, which to me, in 2015, the idea of a royal protocol is silly. But it's like, she poops.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
everybody. It's
or
like,
does she? Is that
Yeah.
part of royal protocol? We don't know.
No, she better.
Someone
Yeah.
poops for her and
Yeah.
tells her what to eat.
Well, speaking of poop and its many wonderful
Yeah.
uses, the white sand beaches of the Caribbean are actually made of the result of the poop of parrotfish. So these parrotfish, they eat parasites, seaweed, and while they're feeding, they scrape coral with their teeth. The coral is in turn excreted as sand, and that sand winds up on the beaches. So the white sand beaches in the Caribbean, they're essentially the result of a healthy parrotfish diet. And a single fish can produce 91 kilograms or 200 pounds of sand in each year. And these parrotfish are critical to the survival of the reefs because as they scrape them, they create new room for the reefs to grow. So sort of, that's a really cool example of this like very self-contained biome right there.
Oh, wow. Really interesting.
You know what fact I heard?
Yes.
That us humans losing weight is contributing to greenhouse gases.
Really?
Yeah.
As
Yep,
as
yep,
contributing in a good way or in a bad way?
Bad way. It's also what we know. We work out. We excrete what we need to excrete through our. I guess that gas is also heating up the atmosphere.
Oh, wow.
I
Stop
mean,
working out.
Yeah, so start snacking.
Well, it probably is because there's a lot of humans.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of us.
Yeah. Stay indoors and don't be active. So let's get back to some fun facts about you, Adina.
Oh,
Here.
God.
So first off, your Wikipedia is very I had to go to your website. I had to go to your website to learn some stuff about you. Because it's not on Wikipedia there. But it's a very nice website, and I was reading your bio, and it's very, very nice.
Thank you.
You were born in New York City.
I'm from the Bronx.
From the Bronx. Your father was born and raised in Sierra Leone.
West Africa.
West Africa.
Yes.
Now here's some fun facts about that. About Sierra Leone.
Okay.
We like to have a lot of geographical facts on the show because we have listeners all over, and I'm not very smart, so I like to learn some things.
Okay.
Officially known as the Republic of Sierra Leone, it's a country in West Africa. It is bordered by Guinea in the northeast, Liberia in the southeast, and the Atlantic Ocean in the southwest. It is also among the largest producers of titanium and bauxite, a major producer of gold, and has one of the world's largest deposits of rutile. Now, I read these words, and I don't know what they are, but they're blue links, so I click them. Bauxite is an aluminium ore. Now, there's that second I in aluminium, but it's really just aluminum. Bauxite is an aluminum ore, which it's the world's main source of aluminum, and rutile is a mineral composed primarily of titanium dioxide. Now, when rutile is finely powdered, it's a brilliant white pigment, and it is used in paints, plastics, paper and foods, and other applications that call for a bright white color. So rutile in its powdered form is like a bright white, vibrant color. And Sierra Leone is one of the world's largest
rich mineral deposits.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Don't they also have a lot of diamonds?
They have diamonds in that region also. They have a lot of that.
And blood diamonds.
And blood diamonds. But rutile is where it's at.
All right. I did not know that.
DiCaprio's got a blood rutile coming out next fall starring Leo DiCaps. And then your mother was raised in Bermuda.
Yes.
And that is... I've always heard of Bermuda, like from that Kokomo song. Remember the Beach Boys, Bermuda, Bahama, and I always hear, I always hear of Bermuda Triangle, and I never really, I know where it's at, but I don't. Bermuda is the northernmost point of the Bermuda Triangle. It was the first European to discover Bermuda was Spanish sea captain Juan de Bermudez. It's named after Juan, and that was in 1503. And its nearest landmass is in North Carolina. So, even though you think of the Bermuda Triangle and that area,
like the
tropics, you think it's in the tropics. It's closest to North Carolina at about 640 miles. Yeah, so I didn't know that.
And it's also a really great tax shelter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that where your primary residence
No,
is?
I did not know
Your main
that.
address is in Bermuda.
No, I did not know that as an adult. I mean, as a kid, all I thought it was like, anywhere, anyone who can see me can have a direct connection to my parents, to my mother. I have to be on the best behavior because someone can rat me out at any moment.
Yeah.
Small island.
Yeah.
And it's a great tax shelter. No. Go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say it reminded me of I was in Iceland this past year recently for work, and I was told about an app that they have there because the country is so small. They have an app that you can download for when you go out to the bar or the cafe that will let you know whether the person that you are pursuing romantically is your cousin or not. So that way you don't accidentally, have a terrible realization and have to move to House Lannister in Game of Thrones. Bermuda hopefully doesn't need that app. But Iceland, however, does.
I mean, if my cousins look like some Lannister.
Yeah, exactly. But another Bermuda fact that I just read about. So Bermuda has a lot of white rooftops. It's one of the things that people see in the landscape when they look at photographs of it. Those white rooftops have a purpose. Bermuda doesn't have many freshwater wells, and they don't have any natural rivers. So that means early settlers had to be creative with how they would collect suitable drinking water. So these white rooftops have gutters that catch the water and direct it into a caged-off drain, which prevents a lot of the debris from falling in. And eventually it fills up an underground tank that every house has, which passes through a filtration system that makes it safe to drink. So if you're running low on water, just wait for it to rain, and you shall have something to drink, which is super cool. Very, very eco-friendly.
Yeah, before we were conscious of water here, I remember visiting family in Bermuda, and water was so incredibly important. Go back to poop.
Yeah.
Unless it was poop, you did not flush because you just water was precious. Water is precious.
Yeah. What is it? If it's yellow, let it mellow.
Right.
It's brown. Flush it
Yeah,
down.
dash it down.
Yeah, I'm always blown away when I see newer facilities that have like the waterless. Like I know they have a lot of waterless urinals in certain places, and it's saying like, oh, one of these will save 40,000 gallons per year, which is mind blowing to think about. It's just, and especially right now with this drought in California. When it rained recently, I remember hearing a statistic, something like they collected 1.5 billion gallons of water. They collected some absurd amount of water, but even that it would only be enough to supply 33,000 people with water for a year. So we're still like 70 days of rainfall away from getting out of the drought that we're in right now.
Yeah, but I feel like I've read some articles where it's like we're in a drought, but all the rain, it's all it's all a circle. Like it eventually, it's like I've read the rain has gotten us out of the drought, and that they say that we're in a drought and we're losing stuff, but in the end, it evens itself out. Like it's self-replicating, I guess.
I don't know. I heard out in the Central Valley, you've got people having to go like to a neighborhood place for showers because there's no water in their homes anymore. Out. Yeah.
And then there's some wealthier communities that will pay to have water like trucked in so they can water their lawns.
Huh.
And I am putting in fake grass on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, going for the AstroTurf?
So excited.
That's
exciting.
Yes.
I've started noticing more and more people doing this recently, and it's always one of those things where I have to like do a double take, make sure that my dog is not about to do something horrible to their nice lawn that will not.
That's another circle that it seems like more and more people are doing that, and it's very interesting because like in the 50s and in the 60s that was the thing. Like you have the AstroTurf in your backyard by your pool or even on your front lawn and all that, and it was the thing. It was it was the cool thing. And then people got away from that. Then now it's like people are starting to revert back to that because of droughts or just ease of maintenance.
That and also it's the cool thing.
It's, it's like it feels nice. It's soft. It's it's clean. You can wash it. You can keep it. It's looks cool. It's very like kitschy and hip. And I love that. Like that's why I'm a huge fan of Mad Men and all of those period pieces because it's got that aesthetic that Rockwell painting type of just clean lines, boxes, squares. I don't know. I
love Mad Men. But I also love how Mad Men dealt with race.
Oh,
they didn't ignore it.
No, they did it.
And it's just magnificent.
I'm very upset that they split this season. It was like 6 episodes.
Yeah, it's what they did with Breaking Bad.
So
I'm like,
silly.
why are you making me wait a year for this?
Because they want to reel you in, baby.
I know. They're like, that's another Emmy we can win.
Yes.
That progression of the 60s, like they did it so well, and they hit all the right points and all the even the the major aspects of history versus the individual characters like Pete Campbell realizing that this is or Don that one where the episode where it was Sterling, it was his birthday party or whatever, and they painted up in blackface and he was doing all that, and all the people were still people were enjoying it or whatever, but Don was even looking at it like from the outside. Don's like, this is wrong. It's slowly you see individuals. And it's kind of happening now a little bit with gay rights. More and more people are It's starting to exponentially, I guess, get better as years go on. But it's like it's a bummer that it's taking so long. But you have that. It's the same where it's like it's Mad Men did a great way of showing the progression of just the eyes opening to how
I remember that episode where they were going to hire one black person.
Yeah.
And all these people were in the waiting room waiting to be interviewed. And my heart really, it tugged at my heart because I thought of my parents.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been like for my parents. And then the next day at work, I was working in the newsroom then, and I went to work and we were talking about different things, and I talked about this with another colleague, and that went right over her head. She didn't even, it didn't, that image of all those African Americans, I guess they were Negroes then, in the waiting room, she didn't even notice it. And for me, it was this image that was like burned in my head. So I just imagine my parents and the stories they've told me.
Yeah.
And
it was sit and wait.
That's very fascinating how something like that can just like totally. So it's just to another person like, oh, it's just another scene. Like there's no. I think they do a good job, especially on a show like Mad Men, of providing context as well. Whereas, yeah.
And it's almost one of those things where it's like you should notice that because you learn from all of that, but then it's almost like has it come so far to where you don't even like it goes over the head because we're so accepting now? You know, it's almost one of those where it's like.
But I have we all have different prejudices and we all see different things. Like, in my head, is it Sam Smith? The singer Sam Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way he croons, I saw him as an overweight, heavy-set black man. Kind of like, that was just in my head.
Yeah.
And then when I saw who he actually was, I was just kind of blown away. I was blown away by my assumptions.
Yeah.
And I guess I was even quite honest. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Is that right? Is he?
Yeah.
And of course it is. It's his voice. But I was pozzessive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I
mean, I'll tell you what, in your defense, overweight black dudes can sing.
So you paid him a great compliment.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, that's a compliment. If I could sing like an overweight black dude, screw singing. I just want to sound like an overweight. I want that, man.
But I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Other people are like,
that's
hey, that doesn't that sound like a black man?
Yeah.
An overweight black man?
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah, and that's something else recently. I don't know. Did you guys ever listen to Serial at all? The podcast Serial.
I didn't. I was one of the few that didn't.
I did. I listened to it in its entirety. I really enjoyed it. But before each episode, they were sponsored by MailChimp, which is an email messaging service like facilitating newsletters. And there's a clip in there where they have a little girl, or what it sounds like to me, it sounds like a little girl. Trying to read it, and she said "male Kemp," like she mispronounces it, and it's a cute clip. But someone, and it played before every episode, and it became something of like a meme unto itself. People like really latched onto that as like they would talk about online. People remixed that into songs. It was fascinating. But this one woman wrote on Huffington Post that she thought she listened to it and it upset her because to her. She was an Asian American woman who had, I think, parents who were ESL, and it sounded to her like this was someone for whom English was not their primary language, trying to pronounce this word, and she thought that it was they were making fun of her for it, and she perceived it. I think she used like a racist act of microaggression or micro-racist, something like that. She thought it was racist. She thought they were doing something untowards with this woman who was not a native speaker. The podcast producers since reached out to her. They said, "We can tell you that she was not an Asian woman, an ESL speaker. Like this is 100% not the case." But it's just fascinating how that is how, like you were saying with Sam Smith, you were so sure that he was something that he was not at all. Yeah. So it's weird how our preconceived notions of what we hear can sometimes be radically different from the truth.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no right or wrong. Sometimes I gotta catch myself. It wasn't wrong of my colleague to not notice that. That's just something that they didn't see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so. Catch myself.
Yeah. Another show that does a great job of portraying race relations in a very thoughtful manner is The Nick on Cinemax.
I have not checked it out yet. It
is so good. It stars Clive Owen as this sort of like brilliant but rough around the edges, drug-addled surgeon at the fictional Knickerbocker Hospital in New York around turn of the century. And one of the big conflicts in which he's thrust into is he, like, the head doctor at the hospital dies. He becomes like the head of the hospital, and the benefactors of the hospital want him to hire this African American surgeon who is brilliant. He went to Yale, studied in Paris. He knows all the latest techniques, but he's the big thing is he's no, I don't care if he's great. I don't want to have to integrate my hospital. I don't want that PR nightmare. I can't deal with this. And so you get that tension between him. They come to respect each other, but it's very fascinating to see it play out because, they don't shy away from it. I feel they don't pull any punches. It's also directed by Steven Soderbergh and has a brilliant soundtrack by Cliff Martinez. It's just great storytelling, but it was something I really appreciated. One of the storylines they just dove into wholeheartly.
Well, I got to check myself that I didn't know that an African American man would have been able to have gone to Yale at that time.
Yeah, I think there's exceptions to every rule.
Yeah, which is good to know.
Yeah,
which is good for everybody to know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Learn something.
You learn.
Mm-hmm.
Here's something
the podcast is working already.
Here's something I learned. Adina, you're from the South Bronx.
Yes.
And according to Wikipedia, the South Bronx is also known worldwide as the place and birth of hip-hop.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I did not know that.
DJ Kool Herc.
Yeah.
Throwing block parties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there was a little bit of a rivalry for a minute with the Bronx and Queens.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Who actually started it and then who, took it to life, and then, of course, the big rivalry between East Coast and West Coast.
Yeah.
But, the Bronx. I mean, I am very proud of being from the Bronx.
Yeah.
I was not a street kid. My parents kept really good tabs on us all the time. I played street kids on television. But I love the fact that wherever I happen to be, Sierra Leone, Bermuda, Vancouver, Switzerland. If I say I'm from the Bronx,
people know the Bronx.
People know.
Yeah. Switzerland also
People
a good tax.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, what are you doing going to all these places, Adina?
It is true, isn't it?
What? Maybe you can teach us something here.
Well, on an actor's salary, you got to make do and
absolutely.
a good
You learn-
investment.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm a landlord. I have 3
for
rental
you.
properties.
Good for you.
Yep.
Good for you. That's my parents have a couple. Land is one of the they don't make, as they say,
They don't make
they
land
don't
anymore.
make land anymore.
One of my very, very, very first acting teachers was Butterfly McQueen.
Yes.
She was a member of my church, or actually the sister church in Harlem where I went to church. And she passed away a really horrible death. And when that happened, I thought to myself, I got to save because you never know.
Yeah.
So that's when I started doing rental property things.
Wonderful. Good for you. It's I'm a huge advocate of entrepreneurial and things like that, and that's being a landowner is it's being a homeowner and renting. It's a lot of work. It's hard work, but it's risky, and it's you never know if you're going to get good tenants or bad tenants.
Very
that are gonna
true.
Mess up, or some of them are really great, and others they treat places like shit. So if you're renting, treat it nice because it's somebody else's.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you have to live there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I definitely applaud that, and that's awesome to hear, and
Thank you.
congratulations on that. It's funny you mentioned Butterfly McQueen, because I also I got her listed on I got a little bit of trivia about this.
Oh, cool.
For those of you not in the know, I mean, I wasn't in the know until I read this, but Butterfly McQueen was Scarlett O'Hara's maid in the 1939 film Gone with the Wind. And Gone with the Wind, it was nominated for it won 12 Academy Awards, 10 of which were actual award. It won 10 Academy Awards. Was nominated during the 12th Academy Awards in 1940. It won 8 competitively, and then it got 2 for honorary. And the film was immensely popular. It was the highest earning film made up to that point, and retained the record for over a quarter of a century. And adjusted for inflation, it is still the most successful film in box office history.
So adjusted for inflation, sorry Avengers.
Sorry,
nice try.
Avengers. 1939, Gone with the Wind will still trump that.
Wow.
But the actors weren't paid residuals.
No, unfortunately.
No. Nowadays.
That film was also it was trying to get made for a while. There was a lot of turmoil because the director wanted Clark Gable to be it so much. He wanted him to star in it for so long that it kept getting pushed back, and financial troubles and all that. Yeah, fun fact about that. Also, here's something I learned recently that ties in back to you. You've, according to Wikipedia, you were in a Geico commercial.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Which is very cool.
I remember that, yeah.
Geico, I didn't know this.
You didn't know it was an acronym?
I didn't know Geico was an acronym.
Mm-hmm.
What does it stand for?
The Government Employees Insurance Company. Mm-hmm. It's the second largest auto insurer in the United States. I'm a member myself, so thank you for keeping me safe, Geico. Yeah. It's a wholly owned subsidiary of Berkshire Hathaway, which is a giant company.
Well, that's
Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also an entrepreneur.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I've worked for Warren Buffett.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The richest dude in the United States, right? Isn't he?
Yes.
He makes
one of them.
He makes a pretty penny.
One or two.
Yeah.
I think because wasn't Microsoft
Bill Gates.
over him?
Yeah, but then he started giving it all away.
Oh yeah. That's all good. It's all good.
And they both are. That's how awesome they are. Like Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, they got together and they're like, "Hey, we're way too rich. We don't need any of this." So they got a bunch of other rich people and we're like, "Hey, let's give it to good causes."
As of September 12th, 2014, according to Forbes, Bill Gates is the richest person in the United States with a real-time value of $81.2 billion. Warren Buffett, $74.4 billion.
Come on, Bill Gates, give out $6 more
followed
million.
by Oracle founder Larry Ellison, $56.9 billion. The Koch brothers, $42.1 billion.
Wow.
Then the next four slots are the Walton family of who owns Walmart. We're at 41 to $38 billion. Then Michael Bloomberg, $35.2 billion. And then Mark Zuckerberg, sitting at number 11, edged out of the top 10 by Walmart. Only $35.2 billion, Mark.
Come on, Mark. Step it up. Start having businesses or start buying houses in Switzerland and Bermuda.
Exactly.
Save some of that money. Save some of that money, Mark.
Yeah, just throw some ads on Instagram. No, please don't.
Geico was founded in 1936.
Wow.
By a gentleman by the name of Leo Goodwin Sr. and his wife Lillian. And as those of you know, the mascot is it's a gecko. It's actually a gold dust day gecko. And the gold dust day gecko is a diurnal species of gecko, and it lives in northern Madagascar and on the Comoros. It has been also introduced to Hawaii and other Pacific islands, and it typically inhabits various kinds of trees and houses. The gold dust day gecko feeds on insects and nectar. Some fun facts about Geico and about geckos.
Have you ever heard of a turtle that breathes from its butt?
No.
I have not.
It's endangered in Australia.
It is?
Yes. I have to give credit for Wait, Don't Tell Me. That's how I've learned these things.
I love that program.
I love that show. Yeah, Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Peter Sagal just has the best radio game show voice.
But yeah, it's endangered. It has a proper name, but he breathes out of its butt, and it's in danger.
The Australian Fitzroy River Turtle.
Yeah, the Fitzroy River Turtle. It is the only surviving member of the genus Redites, the other member being the extinct form Redites divisi. The species is endemic to southeastern Queensland, Australia.
And this is interesting. The possible reason for why it's able to breathe from its butt is because it's in the shell. The shell evolved from its ribs and vertebrae that were flattened out and fused together, which keeps it safe from bites. But it also, when a turtle hibernates, it buries itself in cold water for as long as 5 months. And in order to survive, it has to change stuff about how its body works. Things like fat burning, some processes they go anaerobic, so it sort of shuts its body down without oxygen required in a hibernating turtle. As a result, there's a buildup of lactic acid, and too much acid is not good for the body. The shell can't store the lactic acid. It releases vinegar into the turtle's body, so it's not the shell diffuses into the body to help get rid of this buildup. But it has no use for its lungs and muscles while it's hibernating. So, in order to inhale and exhale, the body makes use of the anal cavity instead. So
make and do.
Yeah, there you go. Turtles figuring it out. Yeah, and there are sacs next to the cloaca in the turtle's anus called bursa that easily expand and contract, and they're lined with blood vessels, and so oxygen diffuses through the blood vessels. The sacs are squeezed out.
I feel a little lacking that my body doesn't. Well, maybe in billions of years, my body would do that if it had to.
If I nap long enough, maybe it'll start happening.
Here's something I've had this little fact and these words on here for a while here, but over the last few weeks we've never gotten to them. It's called the cocktail party effect.
Okay.
And this really interests me, and I was always wondering about this. The cocktail party effect is the phenomenon of being able to focus one's auditory attention on a particular stimulus while filtering out a range of other stimuli, much the same way that a partygoer can focus on a single conversation in a noisy room. This effect is what allows most people to tune into a single voice and tune out all others. It may also describe a similar phenomenon that occurs when one may immediately detect words of importance originating from unattended stimuli. For instance, hearing one's name in another conversation on the other side of the room. The cocktail party effect works best as a binaural effect, which requires hearing from both ears. People with only one functioning ear seem much more distracted by interfering noise than people with two healthy ears. The binaural aspect of the cocktail party effect is related to the localization of sound sources. The auditory system is able to localize at least two sound sources and assign the correct characteristics to these sound sources simultaneously. As soon as the auditory system has localized the sound source, it can extract the signals of the sound source out of a mixture of interfering sounds, much like hearing, being in a conversation at a party, but, if your conversation's boring, you can wane out and eavesdrop.
Well, I've also think that when you're at a cocktail party, unless it's an incredibly interesting, hot conversation, then there's always, your ear is always out there looking for a possibly more interesting.
Yeah, exactly. You're trying to find the next, what am I going to move on to next? Like, was that someone talking about appetizers here behind me because I want a tiny spring roll? But no, that is that is very cool because parties can be a loud place, but being able to sort of like silence all that background noise and sort of focus in on just one thing, it's impressive. Good job, humans. Keep it up.
Good job, humans.
But I guess it's also why it's a certain age group, because when you were talking about having to have both ears working, I thought about Grumpy Grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And why Grumpy Grandpa can't, why we all can't have a great conversation, because Grumpy Grandpa can only hear so much of it.
Exactly. He's just get him a cocktail, and Grandpa will just even out. It'll be great.
Grumpy Grandpas.
Yeah.
I love them. Fun stuff. Here's do you have something?
I've got something.
Sure. Say something,
so
man.
grandparents reminds me. My grandparents always used to have just a bowl of hard candy out. For whatever reason, when you reach a certain age, like once you become eligible for AARP status, I feel like there's a biological imperative to buy hard candies and like usually lesser known brands like the one that looks like a strawberry or butterscotches. But my grandmother...
Butterscotch is butterscotch is so good. The butterscotch candies.
Yeah, they're great. Like there's come in like the Werther's Originals. That is a super... That's like the staple of... I'm pretty sure old people eat just 90% Werther's Originals. Yeah.
But if you cannot bring it with you to the theater, we would really greatly appreciate it.
Exactly. Wanted to hear you rustling around.
Like it's one thing if I'm going to watch Guardians of the Galaxy or an action movie, eat popcorn, eat these things. But I was watching Birdman, and I went to see it, and they have the thing at the beginning. It's like, please silence your cell phones, please be quiet. But then the dude behind me, his M&Ms drop on the floor, and they're all over the place. And it's like, dude, we're watching a character piece, well-written, well-directed film, well-acted. Don't, like, I wish...
Get your snacks together.
I'll pay $2 more to not have people chomping on things behind me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not an action movie. I feel like I wish theaters would... Certain things you can eat...
Or just wait till the movie gets loud. It will happen.
Yeah.
I guess that's the etiquette. whether you're got good movie etiquette or not.
Yeah.
Whether you're used to watching movies in a crowd or if you're used to watching movies on your phone on the toilet where you can make all the noise you want to and no one can hear you.
Also, bad movie etiquette is bringing your newborn to a movie like The Hunger Games, which happened to me recently. I'm like, gee, I wonder why this baby's crying. Maybe it's the pounding bass, the explosions, or the dystopian future in which Katniss lives. I don't know what upset the baby the most, but it was crying for a while.
The baby was concerned about the cat.
Yeah, the baby. Yeah, I know that. Well, the cat survives. Everyone.
Yeah, spoiler
of course.
alert, Dan.
Spoiler
Alert.
If you haven't seen it, I mean, it's a pretty essential to the narrative thrust of the movie.
I'm a parent. I know you want to get out, but we just got to sacrifice. You can't watch the movie together, either with your spouse. Someone has to stay home, but don't bring the kids to the movies.
And also, that movie is wildly inappropriate for a baby.
Yeah.
Wildly inappropriate.
Yeah.
Back to candy, Dan.
But back to candy, hard candies. So that got my grandmother always had Lifesavers at her house.
Okay.
She had a lot of the Winto mint, which I think you guys. I'm not sure if you've ever done this, but if you turn off the lights, if you chomp down on one, it creates a spark in your mouth.
Oh wow.
No, I've done that.
I don't know what it is about that, but you can
It's
chomp
probably
down on
because
it.
Your teeth are made out of cement.
Exactly, that's true. That's true. But Lifesavers, they have been around for a while, since 1912.
Wow.
They're an American brand of candy, a ring-shaped hard candy, range from mints, artificial fruit flavors, and they have the distinctive packaging. They come in the little roll of aluminum wrapping, and they usually have a sort of multicolored ringlet roll around them. They were first created in 1912 by a man named Clarence Crane, a candy maker from Cleveland, Ohio, and the father of famed poet Hart Crane. He developed a line of hard mints, but he did not have the space or machinery to make them at the time, so he teamed up with a pill manufacturer to press the mints into a shape. In 1913, he sold his formula for Lifesavers to Edward Noble of Governor, New York, for $2,900.
Wow.
Then in 1935, the classic 5-flavor rolls were introduced, offering a selection of 5 different flavors: pineapple, lime, orange, cherry, and lemon.
I remember. Those are the ones I remember, the flavors.
Yeah.
And they come in the long roll, but I remember my great aunt would always have, she would always have candies, and she would always have those small rolls. You ever have those where it was literally 5?
Yeah.
It was a small package. It had 5 in there. It had 5 Lifesavers, and it was like a small little roll. Yeah.
Yeah, and nowadays I'm reading Lifesavers, Altoids. I believe that they bring in something like $400 million each year. Lifesavers. Wrigley's purchased Lifesavers, or
Yes.
I'm sure that was the guy from Governor of New York. But $2,900 sold the formula for. Now they make $400 million a year. So
if you have an idea,
never sell it.
never sell.
Or get some deals on the back end. Maybe go for $2,000.
If you're going to sell it, inflate the worth.
Yeah.
Inflate the worth
No,
by
you don't understand.
by
These mints are going to be huge.
Well, maybe that's what I needed at the time.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing is, it's always, I always discuss, my brother and I mention my brother a lot, but we always discuss, success, or what's success type of a thing. What is success to you, and what does it mean? And people are always striving to get to success, but you could be, in the end, you could already be successful, depending on how you measure success. And exactly that. Maybe at the time, that's back in 1912, $3,000 with inflation. I don't know what it is now, but it's a lot of money back then. It's not a lot now, but back then he could have maybe he that was a lot to him. And that's
okay. I just plugged it into an inflation calculator based on data from 1914. That's as far back as it goes. $2,900 in 1914 today would be worth approximately $67,584.21.
So there you go. I mean,
that's not bad.
I think the scale for selling a spec script is $150,000. So that's, you take half of that, and that's $66,000.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money.
All you
I
had
would
to do
sell
was invent
so many.
candy.
I would sell so many of my ideas just for $60,000.
Yeah,
that's a
Sure.
success.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good on you.
Yeah.
Good on you, Clarence
Good
Crane.
job, Clarence.
Good job.
Thanks for the
Clarence.
candy.
Anytime I hear the word, I hear Clarence. It's such a. First off, Clarence Crane it sounds like it's a comic book name.
He's
It's so
the alter
alliterative.
ego of like,
He's the superhero version of Ichabod Crane.
yeah.
When I think of Clarence, I think of
It's a
Wonderful Life.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that movie.
Such a good movie. It's funny we say that because I do have a fact about It's a Wonderful Life. Pulled up.
Really?
Oh, really?
Okay.
Anytime I hear Clarence, I immediately think of Clarence. The only It's a Wonderful Life was nominated for quite a few Academy Awards. It was a great film. The only Academy Award It's a Wonderful Life won was for its technical achievement of new method creating fake snow. Before this, movie snow was made by painting cornflakes white and later dubbing in the dialogue to hide the crunching noise. But the dude who he found a new way to make fake snow, and they won an Oscar for doing that.
Wow.
So no longer white painted cornflakes. He used a compound with water, soap flakes, fomite, and sugar.
Yeah. The
So-
dude's name was Russell Shearman and RKO Radio Studio Special Effects Department.
They were nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Film Editing, Best Sound Recording as well, but they lost mostly to The Best Years of Our Lives.
Another great film.
Exactly.
Yeah, great film.
So it sounds like it was a pretty good year for movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's a fun fact. Well, since we were just talking about candies, and an ongoing joke throughout the episode has been taxes and tax shelters. Here's a fun fact about candy and taxes.
Okay.
In 24 states, you will pay sales tax on Hershey's bars, but not on Twix. This is because those states define candy as flour-free in their sales tax code, and Twix contains flour, making it a grocery item.
Aha.
Now that's a loophole.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a loophole.
Give me a break, Twix. That's actually it's Kit Kat.
That's Kit Kat. Yeah,
But, Twix is all about sharing. They give you two.
yeah.
Wasn't Clarence also the saxophone player for The Boss for Bruce Springsteen?
I think so.
I believe so,
Clarence,
yes.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
Clarence Clemens.
Clarence Clemens.
Yeah.
It's another famous Clarence.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if there's I'm going to type in Google famous Clarences. Clarences.
I think I'm trying to think there might be a Funkadelic person named Clarence too, but maybe
Whenever I think of Funkadelic, I just think of George
Clarence
Clinton.
Thomas, Supreme Court
Oh,
Justice
yes, of
Clarence
course.
Thomas.
Oh, that's bad not to remember him.
Yeah.
We're thinking.
We got. Let's see here. That's a bunch
Those
of,
are the only ones?
there's a bunch of dudes without photos. There's those are Clarence. Aristotle's got a cartoon pulled up from Clarence. What is that,
Clarence
Aristotle?
Darrow, the defense attorney during the Scopes monkey trial.
I can't see Aristotle. What does that say?
Oh,
You can
that's
talk.
a show on Cartoon Network, yeah?
What's the name of it?
It's called Clarence.
Oh, it's called Clarence.
It's a very funny show, very good-natured and sweet. So
Yeah.
check it
Okay.
out if you like animated stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Clarence Darrow, the defense attorney of the Scopes monkey trial, defending evolution.
Okay.
Oh.
And
here we
Clarence
go.
Birdseye, the inventor of frozen food.
Okay, here we go. What about Clarence Nash? He's a voice actor. He provided the voice of Disney's Donald Duck for over 50 years.
Wow.
He was a popular impressionist on Los Angeles' KHU radio station, and his talent for voices got him a publicity gig with the Adore Milk Company. Walt Disney himself invited him to provide a voice for his talking duck in an upcoming animated short, The Wise Little Hen. He also provided the early voice, William Hanna and Joseph Barbera's animated cat Tom and Tom and Jerry. So he provided the early voice
All right.
on Tom before
There's another famous
before
Clarence.
Yeah, Donald Duck was created by Walt Disney after he heard Clarence Nash doing the duck voice. So, he's like, oh, I have to do this character
I'm
now.
creating this character.
He did the duck voice reciting Mary Had a Little Lamb. Disney wanted a character that was a little more negative than Mickey Mouse. So the
sounds like-
bad-tempered Donald Duck was born. And Nash voiced him from 1934 to 1983, then trained Tony Anselmo to take over. Donald Duck's middle name, revealed in the 1942 film Donald Gets Drafted, is Fauntleroy, and he's reportedly the only major Disney character with a middle name.
Yeah.
And
I used to everybody. I mean, I feel like everybody can do the Donald Duck, but it's if you can. I can't talk, but I can do like. I can do an angry Donald Duck, but that's it. I can't. Donald Ducks are hard.
They had to use
to crack.
Well, it's interesting. They had to use a special microphone to record his Donald's voice. The Newman TLM 170. It gives a warmer sound, which was needed because it rounded out the higher tones and the inherent "quote unquote" splat in Donald's voice.
Interesting, wild stuff. Really
and
cool.
it's weird. He's 6 years younger than Mickey.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Finnish voters who want to register a protest vote mark their ballots with the name Donald Duck.
Interesting.
That is fascinating. And he was also created. He was first illustrated by a cabal of people: Al Taliaferro, Karl Barks, and Don Rosa. And he first appeared as a drawing in a May 1934 issue of Good Housekeeping magazine. So that's even before The Wise Little Hen came out as a short.
Wow.
So there you have it. And he won an Oscar. Wow. He won an Oscar in the 1943 animated short Der Führer's Face, which was originally titled Donald Duck in Naziland. It was an anti-Nazi cartoon. Began with music from Wagner's opera Die Meistersinger von Nürnberg, and features Groucho Marx singing as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So there you go.
Wild. That's really cool.
Duck facts.
Duck facts. Duck facts. Well, we're wrapping up here. Here's an interesting, fun thing about like a naming thing or whatever. That goes back to, I guess, childhood and reading or whatever. Cliff's Notes.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Cliff's
Yes,
Notes?
yes,
Have you
yes.
ever used them?
No,
No.
because that would be cheating.
That would be cheating. Cliff's Notes, for those of you that don't know, are a series of student study guides available primarily in the United States. The guides present and explain literary and other works in pamphlet form or online. It's basically like the TLDR,
Exactly.
Reader's Digest.
It was, a lot of times, if you didn't read the book, this would break down everything you need to know. And they had a very iconic yellow and black sort of like caution tape aesthetic to them.
Yeah, and you could use those to, if you were great with words and writing, if you were a well written high schooler, you could just get the Cliff's Notes and write a report based off of that instead of actually reading the book. Cliff's Notes was started by a Nebraska native named Cliff Hillygrass in 1958. He was working at Nebraska Book Company of Lincoln, Nebraska, when he met Jack Cole, the co-owner of Cole's, a Toronto book business, and Cole's was also the publisher of a series of Canadian study guides called Cole's Notes. So obviously they just name it after themselves, but they compile the books.
Oh, these will be Cole's Notes.
These will be Cole's Notes. Yeah.
No one will be the wiser.
So some fun fact, I always you've always heard of give me the Reader's Digest version or give me the Cliff's Notes version. Mm-hmm. And nowadays with the Reddit technology and all that, it's a common one is too long, didn't read, so give me the TLDR it. But I always wondered, Cliff's Notes, where did that come from? Why is it named that? Is it named because is Cliff's? I wasn't sure if it was something to do with shortening documents or shortening novels or whatever. But in the end, it's just some dude who did all the notes for you.
And he's got those bars as well.
Yeah, Cliff's bars. Yeah, Cliff bars.
Yeah, it's only one F though.
Cliff.
What can you do?
Add another F.
Different Cliff.
Alrighty, Adina. Well, we are approaching our time.
Okay.
First off, we appreciate you joining.
Thank you very much for being here.
Very informative, and thank you very much for joining us. This is the part of the episode where you promote anything you got or plug whatever you got. Tell anything you want to talk about. This is where you can talk about it, and we will let you talk about it. The mic is yours.
Okay. Well, happy holidays to everybody. I am doing the 100 right now, having a grand time doing that. We are about to wrap that up in the middle of January. And then we'll see what the future gets to hold. If you haven't seen True Blood, I would suggest you get the DVDs and make yourself a couple of cocktails, get underneath the covers and watch 7 seasons. That's quite a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, take a couple days off of work.
And the Newsroom just came to an end last week, and that was a lot of fun. So if you don't have as much time for 7 seasons, just do 3 seasons of the Newsroom.
Exactly. She's making it easy for you. You already know you like HBO. You got a couple options.
Yeah.
Yes. And the 100's on the CW.
Awesome.
So, gentlemen, thank you so much for having
absolutely.
me.
And where can people find you online?
Yeah.
Oh, online?
Do you have any?
know-
Are you a tweeter? Are you an Instagrammer? Are you a?
I am. I don't do it as often as I need to.
Okay.
But I'm really easy to find.
Sure.
I'm Adina Porter. That's
you
my
go.
handle at Twitter. That's my handle at Instagram. And it's adinaporter.com. That's my website.
Excellent.
So do that.
I'm
Watch all
lucky
those
having a
things.
unique name.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult with Dan Casey. There's a couple others out there.
So you're on the 100 is on Wednesday nights.
Yes, Wednesday at 9.
At 9. So that's all right, I'm gonna have to because I watch Arrow, but I always watch it like after because I'm always out at a comedy show or whatever. But I'm gonna it's sequentially like it's the lead in, it's the after then, right? Arrow's on at 8, then the 100's on after Arrow. So watch Arrow, then watch the 100.
Perfect.
I mean, The Flash is better than Arrow. I think they're really hammering it on. The Flash is really good this season, but watch both and then watch the 100.
Yeah, you're already on the couch. Don't move.
Don't move.
Don't
listen.
move.
Here's the deal: you moving contributes to greenhouse gas.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
Save the environment. Watch TV.
Watch TV. Watch the 100. Don't work out. Don't exercise. Just stay. Watch TV, and somehow let other people create robots like in the movie WALL-E. And they'll take us into other galaxies.
And if you reach a certain weight level, you might even wind up with a voice like Sam Smith. The world is your oyster.
Adina, thank you very much. As
Thank
usual, you can follow me on Twitter at my name is Razzle2.
And I'm at OsteoFerocious. And you can also find the podcast on Twitter. We are at TWL Podcast, as in Today We Learned. You can email us, todayWeLearnedPodcast@gmail.com. Send us facts, resolutions, all sorts of stuff. We want to hear from you guys.
Yes,
and we're also on Facebook, Today We Learned with Razzle and Dan. Just search in your search bar. We'll pop right up.
Absolutely. And drive safe if you're driving. As usual, give us another good review on iTunes. Thanks and everything, all that. We appreciate your listeners. Dan, as usual,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks, everybody. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Adina.
Thank you.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.